All right, welcome back to Mountain Views. We're going to take a look at a project that is of a slightly different flavor, but one that we were compelled by in hearing the description of it and wanted to invite the team that is responsible for Project Imagination. And so I am pleased to welcome from Canon, the camera company that you know and love so well because of their beautiful quality products, Rob Altman, and from Freestyle Productions, Kevin and is it Chinoy? Chinoy. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for making time for us. Good to see you. So you guys had this idea at Canon to make a more interactive, let's call it marketing communications, because I think advertising is a little bit of a loaded word, but marketing communications project to interact with your customers. And so set the stage for us of how that idea came about. And
Sure. So a little over a year ago, about November of 2010, we were starting to think about how our brand was evolving and positioning Canon as what we call the ultimate creative enabler, that our products enable people to express their creativity and to take photos and shoot videos that inspire others. So we came up with this idea where people would submit photographs that would then inspire a Hollywood icon to create a short film. And ultimately, that icon became Ron Howard. And the way the program worked, we created 8 categories that were all related in some way to movie making, things like character and setting, time, goal, objects, relationship. And people submitted these photos last spring, and we got over 96,000 photos in a little over 3 weeks.
Wow.
Then we took, in 3 weeks, amazing, it blew away the records of any other contest we've ever done. We went through those photos, we narrowed it down to semifinalists, and then the public voted on the finalists, and then we gave Ron Howard 10 photos from each of those 8 categories. He selected 1 from each category, and then those 8 photos became kind of the skeleton of a short film that then he and his team, including his daughter Bryce, who directed the film, and writer Dane Charbonneau and Kevin from Freestyle, created a short film, a beautiful little film called When You Find Me, which premiered last November and we're showing here at Sundance.
excellent. It occurs to me that one of the really neat things in just listening to you describe this opportunity for people to send in and share their creativity is that your categories were very open, and I would imagine that the submissions that you got must have been very challenging in as much as it wasn't sort of like a category, really.
Right, well, and that was kind of the challenge for Ron and his team, and kind of to show the wide variety of creativity and interpretation. So for something like time, for example, we had photos where people would take a picture of like a sunset, which could be a time of day, and then we have photos taken that look like something out of the 1960s to evoke a time in history. So it was very open, and ultimately that breadth really gave a lot to think about. And when we were selecting the photos, and people would vote on those photos and they got narrowed down, it gave a lot to the team to chew on and to really take the story in many different ways. And I think it really showed how everybody has different creativity and can look at photos in different ways and even interpret the categories in different ways. And that was what was really exciting, to see how people looked at everything differently.
It's very cool. So Kevin, talk a little bit about your involvement, how you came to the project. And
Sure. My partner and I do a program where we give women a chance to direct every summer. We've been doing that for a number of years. We'd actually worked with Bryce Howard, some number of years ago. So when the opportunity came up for, this project with Canon, with Ron, and then Bryce directing, they asked for us to come on board and produce it because we've had experience in producing shorts. Certainly not, with this specific kind of experience. I mean, it was unique and really fun and exciting. But that's how we were brought to it, was through that relationship.
I see. And had you all worked together before? Had you worked with Canon, or?
We hadn't worked with Kevin or Freestyle before, or Bryce. The program was put together through our marketing agency, Gray Advertising and Alliance in New York, and they kind of facilitated a lot of this. And as Kevin said, Freestyle came aboard a lot through the relationship with Bryce. When we originally approached Ron, the thought was maybe he could direct, and which he would have loved to have done, but just his timing and other projects he was working on, he couldn't direct. So somebody suggested, well, maybe mentor somebody. And Bryce, who of course is an actress and has done some shorts and did the short with Kevin and Freestyle a few years ago, somebody said, well, maybe Bryce, you could mentor her, and that she came aboard, and then through the relationship, that's when we started working with Freestyle.
Well, it certainly feels like a great package in terms of telling the story and having both Ron and Bryce involved. So I think we've got the clip ready. I believe it's called Spaceship. Okay. Is the title of this particular clip, so let's see if we can take a look. Right. Technical difficulties. Welcome to live television, everybody. Apologize for that, but we did get a little bit of a flavor. Now, pure animation, a blend of live action and animation?
Well, you know, that particular clip, I mean, one of the interesting things from working with each of the photographs is that, for the most part, the short was live action, but one of the shorts shows somebody looking out a window to what looks like them seeing a spaceship. So Bryce interpreted that by what you see is the little girl in the film, her dream. And we worked with Bryce, and we worked with a shop that specializes in doing that kind of animation, and that shows just yet another use of a Canon camera. It being, you know, that being stop motion versus, you know, say like some of the other stuff that we did with the 5D and the C300. We got to do all kinds of stuff on this project. It was really pretty cool.
Well, as they say in the vernacular, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But that was a great thing for us too. So a lot of it was about the creativity, which is what we really wanted to showcase, but then also this idea that Canon makes tools and creative enabling tools for both consumers and professionals. So where the public and the consumers were submitting their photos that were taken on all kinds of cameras. The film was all shot, as well as the TV commercial that launched this last summer, on Canon products, including our digital SLRs like the 5D Mark II, our new Cinema EOS C300, which was actually, we used the prototype to film this back in September and October. Camera was announced in November, which is a very exciting new move for Canon, now getting into true professional filmmaking tools. And that's another reason why we wanted to be at Sundance. Again, we're connecting with a lot of great people here, including the film lovers, the arts community, the people that just love great film and creativity, but then also the professionals and the filmmakers who make those films, and getting to reach out to them and showcase what our products can do and exposing them to our new products and new cameras and lenses and things like that. So that was a really important thing for us on this project and for participating in Sundance.
Excellent. And I assume, I have to assume that this is part of a larger trend to do more of these kinds of things in terms of having dialogue with your consumers, whether they be prospective or current.
I think you have to in today's world. You know, even as recently as 5-10 years ago, advertising was you put a 30-second TV commercial on or ran an ad in a magazine, and you sent your message out. Now today with social media, and you know, everybody's connected. You need to create that community. You need to establish that dialogue, and that was something that that Ron and Bryce, I think, really appreciated, and they spoke about several times. You know, Bryce made a comment at our premiere that she was a little hesitant at first to do something that was approached by a company, you know, like Canon, and which is, you know, they had a lot of respect for, which we appreciate. But it's a company, and you know, we're obviously our end goal is to sell products.
And no apologies for that, right?
And absolutely not. And she said, you know, but I didn't want to do something that felt like advertising, because she's like, you know, I skip the ads when I watch TV. But which made us all a little nervous. But the point was, you can't do that anymore. You have to do other things. You have to talk to your consumers. Let them talk to you. Let them talk amongst themselves. And that was another thing that we did when we created the site where people submitted photos. Really facilitated a lot of communication between them. When we put all these 96,000 photos online, you had people, you know, how'd you get that shot? What'd you use? You know, where did you shoot that?
Creating a dialogue, a
absolutely, and they were inspiring
cool.
each other and drawing imagination from everybody else.
That's
and
cool.
you know, it's more than just advertising. It's that whole process, and then taking, you know, that and producing a work of art, which When You Find Me, the film truly is. And you know, the response from the audience who've seen it, you know, since the premiere and then here at Sundance so far has been really terrific, and we're very gratified by that.
That's awesome. Well, I wish we had more time to talk. We're chugging on with the juggernaut that is an hour of live TV. Thank you guys. Apologize that the clip didn't run so well, but we've had the website up there, so it's YouTube, and it's /
it would be www.youtube.com/imagination. If you go there's a ton of behind-the-scenes videos, the photos, and some other cool things that you can check out.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you guys coming and sharing with us, and I think you guys are heading back to the screening, huh?
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Rob, pleasure.
Great.
Kevin, nice work.
Absolutely.
Keep up the good work, fellas. Thank you for coming.
Thank
All right, we're going to do a quick break, and we are going to move on. There's more Holy Water Buffalo, so stay tuned on Mountain Views.